Welcome back to our review of the Let's Talk Whisky. This week I've got something I've had for a while and just noticed I hadn't reviewed it. This is the Tamdhu 15-year-old Speyside whisky owned by Ian McLeod. Ian McLeod that we'll know with Glengoyne and their brand new, well, not brand new, but newly acquired Rosebank distillery, which is based in Falkirk. Tamdhu Speyside, it's a famous bottle by the shape and everything about it. This is something that I've enjoyed from the kind of the range that Tamdhu's had from the 12-year-old. They had a 10 previously. I think it went to Marks and Spencer's. And I can't remember, one of them got discontinued and kind of brought back to life, or vice versa. The 10 went away and came in with the 12, or the 12 and the 10, something along those lines. It's been around since 1890 something. I can't remember exactly when, but looking through it, it's had quite a lot of toil, turbulations, a lot of mothballing, a lot of changing ownership throughout its span, really. And if we kind of go back from what I was able to find, is 2011 is a big year. We'll get to that in a second, in fact, because 2009 it was mothballed. It was owned by Edrington. They had Macallan, Highland Park, Famous Grouse at the time, Glenturret. And I think this is when they started making their move to decide that they wanted to offload some distilleries and concentrate more on Macallan, which they done. Ian McLeod's came in 2011, rejuvenised the distillery in itself. So it's actually kind of really been going that we know Tamdhu recently, as of, 13, 14 years ago, which is bizarre. But when Ian McLeod were able to buy the distillery, they were able to purchase the aged stock as well, which is really good. So they've not had to start from afresh. They've been able to inherit casks. With Tamdhu itself, is everything's exclusively in sherry oak. So sherry matured whiskey. This is 46% non-chill filtered, natural colour. It's a beautiful bottle. I think it's absolutely stunning. I've had it sit in the glass for a wee minute or so as well, just before we get into it. This is something that I think maybe 2017 was my first real try of Tamdhu when I worked in a whisky shop. I hadn't heard of it before, and just the bottle is what took my eye at the time. And I think it's a lovely looking bottle, and the liquid was really good. As I say, I've not really went back to this for a while just now, and I don't know why. I know we're coming into winter. I know there's a lot of sherry cask whiskies getting reviewed of late, as you've seen in the channel. But this was just something that I've not done. It's the only reason why I've pulled this one out of the bag. 46% non-chill filtered, with natural colour, full sherry maturation, and they pride themselves in the best sherry casks and the maturation that they do. But we'll find that out in a wee minute or so. I'm going to get straight in. The colour of it, it's wonderful. It's lighter bronze, golden amber, copper style colour, moving up the legs as usual. Taking our time to come down. The lasting, it looks quite oily from the time it's taking to come down. The legs are starting to come down. So again, I'm hoping for good viscosity, good mouthfeel, good flavours, good nose, and kind of good finish as well. So I'm going to get this on the nose and see where we go from there. It's 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 sherry, but it's not in your face overtly sherry, if that makes sense. It's bizarre because this is a total sherry maturation, right? Your kind of soft forest fruits is a weird kind of, like, it's it's like a weird apricot coming through there as well, kind of marmalade apricot, and Savian orange maybe. There's a soft orangey apricot note coming through, which I wouldn't expect that due to being sherry, right? Your kind of more red fruits. It's got a what is that? The 46%, I would think it sits about there, just one on the nose. It smells like a 46 percenter. It's not sharp, it's delicate. As I say, Savian orange, there's a soft kind of more marmalade note to this. forest fruits, more leading to the red style fruits there. Your raspberries, more not fresh raspberries, but muddled raspberry. It's got a really good nose. There's a soft sort of pinch of oak in there as well, but nothing overtly in the front. Again, those legs are just taking forever to go down. I'm hoping that looks. You can just see how long they're taking to go. Well, let's get this on the palate and let's see what the taste test does, if it's going to stick with what I can get on the nose that we get on the palate. So, Slange everyone. It stayed sherried, it stays that marmalade note's still staying there as well, kind of orangey, apricot, soft kind of more. I don't know if it's cinnamon at the end. There's a tiny bit of spice there, but nothing overly punchy. The ABV sits very well with it. A little bit of cinnamon finish, really good mouthfeel. It's a kind of medium finish. It's not a super long finish. Kind of soft oak coming through. It's a delicate dram. It's really good use of sherry. It's not overly powered sherry, which has really thrown me because it's exclusively matured in sherry casks, right? It completely changes it. But the palate is what the nose is, and I've not had that in a whiskey in a good time. You know, I usually get something on the nose, and the palate will tell me something different. The only real difference on the palate is that little bit of cinnamon just at the end of the mouthfeel. Medium mouthfeel, which again is fine. I'm not chasing flavour on this. The nose is good. There's a kind of softer, maybe purpurey note there as well. It's becoming a bit more perfumey, a bit more vibrant there. This is good. This is nice. It's probably not my favourite sherried whiskey, and in by no means in a bad way. I think is because the amount of sherried whiskey I've had lately is big sherry bombs, if that makes sense. This is lighter on sherry. This is a good use of how sherry cask can be used to mature whiskey. A lot of whiskey I think I've tried of late has been kind of finishes in sherry and not maturations in sherry. So to have this is so level and so steady, the colour of the whiskey complements the nose complements the mouthfeel and the palate, and then the palate and mouthfeel complements the finish to it. This is a very well rounded whiskey. My only gripe with it is price. This is retail, I think it's £110 for a 15-year-old, is probably my only thing. Beautiful bottle, beautiful shape. I think it stands out. It's great looking on the shelf. It drinks very well. Is it? I think they had another one. They brought out the Dalbali or Dalbali series that was phenomenal. I tried that a couple of years ago. But I think for a price point for £110 to buy a 15-year-old is a difficult task to keep this on my shelf. I think that's maybe why I've taken so long to kind of get through it. I love it. It ticks all the boxes. It's just the price is the only little gripe that I've got with it. But again, it's really good. It's enjoyable. I like it. And again, just new things coming to the forefront there. It's good. It feels like I've just went into a copper still now. I've got a kind of soft coppery distillery note coming through that it's just you can imagine yourself at Tamdhu. It's magic. I think it's going to do really well going forward, as it still is. I think they sold one of their biggest sales was last year, 350,000 bottles of Tamdhu, not just the 15 overall, which is one of the biggest they've done so far. So what they've done at Glengoyne's great, Tamdhu's great, so I can only expect Rosebank to be amazing as well. I think this is good whiskey. It's a good use of sherry cask. It's good for me and I enjoy it. It's just the price is the only thing that I'll struggle to replace this one once it's finished. So I'll probably take my time and hide this at the back of the shelf again. But if you've enjoyed this video, leave a comment below if you agree with my tasting notes or my comments. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button as well. And as always, join me next week. Let's talk whiskey. Flange.